Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial of the astrological horoscope spread by your teacher Rachita Gupta. I am going to explain here how we are going to link the tarot cards with the traditional kundali of a person. The tarot cards can also be used as a very insightful and informative source of information about a person's temperament, finances, love life, married life, professional life, and so many other questions that he may have in his life. Now, the traditional horoscope spread or the astrological spread is laid out in this fashion. This is a 12 card spread, and much like the traditional kundali, it will have 12 cards which are laid out in the same manner in which the houses or the bhavas of the horoscope are laid out. Let me start with the first house, that is this particular house here. We will identify this with this amethyst pyramid which is kept here. This is the beginning point of the spread. This is the first house, and the first house we know denotes the physical characteristics, the health, the vitality, and also the likes and dislikes of the native of whom we are asking the questions. This is the first card, and it's always laid out in the position in which the clock shows 12 o'clock. Okay, so both the needles will be in the 12, so which means in the middle of the spread, this is the number 1 card. And then we will lay out our cards. We will pull out our cards and lay them anti-clockwise. As you see here, we have the second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth, the seventh house, the eighth house, ninth house, 10th house, 11th, 12th. So we complete the circle like this in 12 houses, and this is again back to the Lagan or the first house of the astrological spread. So first house, as I said, is very powerful. It is also known as the significator house, and therefore when we study the card which is there in the first house, we will see the basic nature, temperament, and the innate power, the intrinsic power of that individual to combat the challenges of life. Number 2, we see the wealth house. Number 2 card deals with the wealth, the finances, and also the family connections of this person. So any question related with family happiness, family expansion, please also check the second card. I am not deliberately opening the cards over here because then it would become a very specific case. I am only guiding you here on the karkatva or the signification of each house. Then we come to the third house. Now the third house here, as you can see, talks about the person's entrepreneurial skills, stamina to get out of any challenges and rise back again, and any question related to younger siblings is also seen from the third house. It tells you how strong a person is from the inside in terms of willpower, and it also denotes your relationship with your neighbors, as also the presence on the social media, because the third house deals with the karkatva of communications. Any kind of writing, editing, blogging, book writing, article writing, all is seen from the third house. Then we come to the fourth house. The fourth house is known as the Sukhsthan. Sukhsthan meaning the happiness house. This denotes how you will be mentally, whether you will be satisfied, whether you will have mental dissatisfaction, whether you will be mostly under stress or you will lead a relaxed life. So what is the situation of your mind or the mental makeup of a person? It also deals with issues related to your motherhood and also your childhood. If the spread calls for an investigation into these issues, please also look into the additional significations. Otherwise, this is the mind space. Fifth card. Fifth card is going to deal about the Santan Sukh, that is progeny, children. So any questions related to your children, especially your first child, your eldest child, related to fifth house? And also this is the romance, the love, and the excitement and thrill that you feel in life. So any question related to sports, any questions related to love marriage, any questions related to relationships, and how much is your passion quotient seen from the fifth house. Sixth house, this house deals with your loans, liabilities, and enemies. This is also the house or the card which will tell about your professional life, especially if you are working for the government or for the corporate sector. This house is not seen, or this card is not very important when a person is doing business. It's mostly about working for others. And all legal cases will also be seen as a supplementary card from the sixth house. Seventh house is your marriage house. Marriage house or the partner house. Kalatra Bhav. Kalatra Bhav means the other half. So you will see all questions related to marriage and all questions related to business partnerships also from the seventh house. Nature of the spouse and the nature of your married life can be seen from this card. Eighth house is known as the Randra Bhav, which means the leakage house or the dark house. This talks about any kind of sudden obstacles, accidents, delays, and disappointments, and also deals with your interest in the supernatural or the unknown, the occult. Ninth house, dealing with your Dharmasthan or the religion house. This talks about your interest in religion, your inclination towards spirituality, how much your higher studies will be, and also talks about travel within the country, that is long distance traveling. Ninth house is important to study also because it's a very strong supplementary to the Lagan, that is the first house, because 1 and 9 and 5 together make up the inner urges of the individual. They are also known as the Trikon houses or the Lakshmi houses, 1, 5 and 9. 10th house is very important because it tells about your search for identity in this life. It also talks about how much is your craving for establishing your own presence in the world. It is known as the Karmasthan. What kind of karma are you willing to do to establish your individual identity in this world? So we study it for self-employment issues. We will study it for any questions related to professional success. We will study it because it talks about your relationship with your father. It talks also about your ego and any kind of prestige issues that you may have. Then we go on to the next house. This is the 11th house. 11th house, again very important. Let's see the 11th house. 11th house is important. It is known as the house of gains or the house of income. Everybody wants gains and inflows into their life. It also stands for networking and your contacts and your friend circle. 11th house is important because if this house has a good card, a strong card in this, then a lot of the other loopholes of your other cards can be covered because the person will be able to capitalize on the opportunities that are given to him during this lifetime. So this talks about all the income sources. 12th house, known as the Moksha house. This talks about expenditures, large-scale expenses, and also your spiritual bent of mind. It says how much you want to understand the meaning of life, go in search of finding your deeper purpose in life, soul purpose in life. So any kind of such questions that make you think deeply are related with the 12th house. And then here we are back to Lagna. 12th house is also known as the Vyayasthan, meaning the expense house of the Lagan Sthan, which means that 12th house, if this is strong, it can lead to a loss in health or loss of confidence here because the losses are going to be more than the gains or the Lagna. It is in between. So this is how we study the various aspects of a person's life. And when we want to go deeper into any particular aspect, we will study the interplay of cards that are there in the various positions. For example, if we want to study about the married life of an individual, we will study the Lagna, that is, what kind of energy that person brings into the relationship. We will study the second house, that is marriage, and the family expansion, as also finance, because the financial situation of a person is going to affect the happiness quotient also. We will discuss the fourth house. Fourth house here, I am showing the Kendra sthans. The crystals are here. 1, 4, 7, 10 are known as the Kendra sthans. You can see them with the crystals here. So it's easier to identify for you. So we'll see the fourth house because it talks about your mental situation. What kind of thoughts, what kind of emotions are there inside you as an individual. We will also talk about the seventh house, which is the marriage house here. So we'll come to know about the quality and the energies of this marriage, that is the composite energies, and also about the nature of the spouse. We will see the ninth house. Ninth house shows your spiritual attitude towards life, how much you are committed and how much you think of marriage as an important institution of growth. 10th house here again is important because it will tell about the careers of both the individuals in the marriage, as also how much of an ego are you having, because too much of ego sometimes can be an impediment for the relationships. We will also check the 11th house. So when we have seen here that we discuss any particular aspect of an individual, we have to see the cards in interplay with each other. So it is not a simple case of just turning over the card of that particular aspect. We have to understand the energies of a person. It's like the entire DNA of a person can be seen in this particular spread. The 12 houses of the horoscope actually contain the essence of the life and also of the divine purpose of that individual. It should be studied with a lot of sacred feeling, and the various relationships between the houses should also be studied carefully before giving your client any guidance or remedies. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed this session. See you again soon.